and have a second voice to speak about the parish taxes which they get to pay. It's interesting that they get two separate voices, as I signed in two separate blue cards. So I respectfully request that you answer, which blue card do you recognize me to speak at here? My city one or my parish one? So I'll know which one you're denying me.
You can go ahead and finish.
Okay. I urge all the citizens, could I have a few seconds?
I'll give you back for the time.
Thank you.
5 seconds, whatever. 6
That's fine.
seconds.
I urge all City of Lafayette voters to vote no for the city property taxes, because if you vote yes for that, you're voting for taxation without equal representation. Send the message to this council. We voted to merge. It's time to merge. Lafayette Parish 1 is the solution. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Andy. And notwithstanding your comments about merger, the charter under which we operate, the one that was approved, specifically says that the governmental functions of the City of Lafayette are consolidated with the governmental functions of Lafayette Parish. The City of Lafayette shall continue to exist as a legal entity.
That's one of the flaws. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Speaker 8 of 10, Dr. Michael Walden.
Thank you. I'll come over here this time. My name is Michael Walden. I live in District 3, and I'm a PhD engineer and a retired environmental engineer and a hydrologist. I wanted to speak on a number of different issues just really quickly, and I'll try to get done before my 5 minutes. First, I wanted to thank you for all your work you do with the 5-minute time limit. Sometimes I don't get to say that, but I really do appreciate your work. Also, Mr. Terry Huval, who I think has come back. I really wish him the best on his retirement. I'm loving my retirement, and I hope he does too. And he certainly is a great resource for knowledge about the history of our area and things that have happened here. So I hope he stays here in Lafayette and continues to be active. Now, today I saw a Facebook post by Councilwoman Liz Hebert reminding us that there's early voting this week. I plan to early vote. I'd forgotten that it was this week, but I plan to early vote now. I'm going to vote for all 4 of the taxes. I really believe strongly in these property taxes. My son has played at the rec centers, at the Dupuis Center at Brown Park. He played basketball, and at Moore Park he played soccer. We go to the library. All our time here, we've always gone to the library, and we have a wonderful library. I think this library attracts the kind of jobs and companies and corporations that you would want to have in a community that pay good wages. I don't think you can have an attractive community without having a good and attractive library system. So I support all 4 of these property taxes. For the Tesh Vermilion District, they are really great. That's one of the really good things that's happened here in Acadiana. And the Gauge project that they spoke about looks like a really great idea. And well, as a hydrologist, I always like to have more data, but it's really true. You need to have the data to make good decisions, and that's a small investment that may pay off in a really big way. I also wanted to mention that the Tesh Vermilion District has a direct impact on our cost of doing sewage treatment. A long time ago in the 1980s, I worked with DEQ on a contract through UL and LSU to work on the permit limits for the city's sewage treatment systems. And at that time, we were able to convince EPA that because the Vermilion River is no longer stagnant and it has the flow from the low flow augmentation, that we needed to consider that and not be the incredibly stringent that EPA was considering putting on the city. So it saves in a lot of ways. It definitely improves water quality in ways that you could never even approach with water treatment, and it reduces the cost that we have for our water treatment. It's just a really good idea to have that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Jennifer, Kansas.
This nice gentleman over here told me I could actually have something put into the official minutes if I bring it to you, Ms. Williams. As she said, my name is Jennifer Kansas, and I own a home located at 207 St. Charles Street in the neighborhood of Nickerson. It has come to our attention, and I mean the residents of Nickerson and Parkinson, that the Macomb Vise Coterie is currently in the process of redrawing their neighborhood and cultural boundaries to include the neighborhoods of Nickerson and Parkinson. I attended the Planning Commission meeting last night to inquire about, one, what was the process used to poll the residents of Nickerson and Parkinson regarding annexation into Macomb Vise? And I can speak for several of my neighbors that we have never been approached about joining this coterie. And then two, who is or are the representatives from our neighborhood on the coterie? And I did get a little bit of a response stating that this has been in the works since 2008. So 10 years have passed, and no one has reached out to anyone in our neighborhood regarding this. We believe in building better communities where we are, but building better communities involves inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. We feel like we should have been included in making decisions regarding our neighborhood, and we feel like the coterie has done a disservice for not including or reaching out to the residents in our neighborhood. Additionally, I would actually like to find out what the operating procedures are that the city currently has in place for such annexing or redrawing, and to find out if the coterie actually followed those procedures. I would like to see all documentation regarding this process. The final vote for this is actually scheduled for May 21st, which is a month. I feel that this should be extended to give the residents of Nickerson and Parkinson time to evaluate and or discuss this further with the Planning Commission, and to evaluate what the residents of these two neighborhoods actually want and not what the coterie necessarily wants. Maybe there's unity in there. We don't know because we've never been approached. And I would really appreciate it if I could receive in writing the answers to the above questions and ample time to discuss with my neighbors what they would like, not the coterie, for our neighborhood. Thank you. Short and sweet.
Final speaker, Melanie Bravis.
Good evening. My name's Melanie Bravis. I'm in District 8 in Broadmoor. And I wanted to talk tonight, I wanted to present with you guys a timeline of our request to have drainage work done in Broadmoor, and not because I expect a resolution or, I'm trying to get anything resolved tonight, but I want to do it as a direct example of how citizens' requests, particularly about drainage, are not being responded to and acted upon effectively, and why that is causing so much frustration from citizens. This goes back to September of 2017. A group of us in Broadmoor were getting concerned about the levels of water in our streets, and how every time we'd get a heavy rain, and not, an extreme August 2016 rain, but just your normal Louisiana rain, our streets would flood, and yards and homes would come dangerously close to flooding. So a group of us wrote a letter to our two representatives, Councilman Conk and Councilwoman Hebert. We're a divided neighborhood. We detailed 17 spots in our neighborhood which we knew were prone to flooding. We highlighted all the areas on a map. We took photos documenting everything. We emailed this on September 7th to Liz, to Bruce, to Joseph Gordon-Wiltz, and 4 other Lafayette government employees in the Public Works area. We received very prompt responses, thank you, from Councilman Conk and Councilwoman Hebert, saying that they will look into things. Joseph forwarded our email to Mark Dubrock, requesting that he investigate our concerns and respond to us. And then that was that. We did not hear anything until November 1st, when we came very close to flooding again. So November 1st, I sent a follow-up email to everyone on that chain, including a few new pictures to show that we were still having the same issues. Liz replied asking Joseph to send her the service breakdown request as far as what had been completed. We never heard anything. December 4th, I received an email from LCG that our service request had been closed, but it wasn't from any of the 17 spots in our neighborhood which we had outlined. It was actually for my own street, which wasn't even on our original list. And since my name and email was on it, it was a bit puzzling as to how that request came about, and since it was not something we initially requested. I did email this on, and I did not receive any direct response about this. I again inquired to Liz on January 8th if anything had been done or if there was any progress on a September 7th email. I inquired again on January 21st. On January 22nd, I sent our original email again to Liz and Joseph and did not receive a response. I asked Liz again on March 17th. She forwarded the email to Joseph. Joseph forwarded the email to Anitra Azun, I believe, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I never heard anything past that point. March 26th, I again reminded Liz, and then again on March 30th, I officially let her know that we still had not received any follow-up. On April 9th, she asked Joseph for an update, and as of present day, that's where we are. So 7 months later, after our neighborhood sent that initial request, there were a total of 8 other emails from me asking for follow-up, but yet there was no real progress or any real communication beyond emails being forwarded to somebody else and asking them to take care of it. So I have felt frustrated. I know other people in my neighborhood have felt frustrated, and I can't begin to imagine the frustration of others in Lafayette who have flooded and have had this same kind of response to their request. I certainly appreciate Councilwoman Hebert's efforts in her newsletter to let us know how many service requests were submitted and worked on, but for those of us who have submitted specific requests, it still doesn't give us a clear idea of where we stand. I've heard from several council people at past meetings that you would like us to communicate problems, to speak up, to participate, that you can't do anything about something unless you hear from it, and that's a very fair point. But I've spoken up, other people have spoken up multiple times, and we still do not have a response, as this string of emails demonstrates. So I would just ask that LCG really take a look at how they're relaying communications to the public and what could be done to better that process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Call.
By way of clarification on the names, on Joseph Gordon-Wiltz, Joseph is our council person who communicates all of your issues to the LCG administration. Just to clarify that. Mr. Douillon, would you follow up on this, please? She is correct. It's been in the hamper for too long. We have not gotten immediate, in some cases, no response to the issue. Could we address that, please? Not necessarily tonight, but get us an answer within a week or two. And again, that I would speak on behalf of Ms. Hebert. Thank you.
Mr. Douillon, did you chimed in? No?
Mike's on. I'll get with Mark Dubrock, and we'll look at the history of all this. You know, a lot of times they'll rate them, and that might be the reason why nothing was done as quickly as you would like. They rate deals, but we'll look at it and see, and we'll get back to you guys.
Okay. All right. Councilman Boudreaux.
Thank you. Veronica and Joseph, identify any and all requests for work service in any area in the city or the parish that is in excess of 6 months. And so we could kind of get a feel for where the department is on some of these issues. Our employees do good work. And everybody who is not privy to the day-to-day operations that the departments go through, the shortfalls, maybe don't have the knowledge that when I came on this council in 2008, I think we had 4 drainage crews cleaning ditches and digging. And because of desires to shrink government, smaller governments, you know, things like being conservative and want to make cuts, we now have 2 crews. And it's difficult sometimes when our expectations are greater than our output. Because when we get to budget time, or we get to times where it's time to put our money where our mouth is, we're quiet. But when individuals come with concerns on why things aren't being done, then we put a big burden on our departments when we have not giving them the resources that they need to meet the expectation of the people. We don't talk about cuts we've made. We don't talk about positions we eliminate. So if we're going to evaluate this project, because I got projects that's been sitting, and I guarantee you every member on this day has got projects that we have been waiting for. And we know why we're waiting for them, and we know where they fall in line. Today in professional services, we move forward on a restroom project for downtown Lafayette. We just started talking about restrooms in downtown last year. And it's a project today. And that's why I asked the question in professional services. How can we get there that fast? And we got bond issues, we got money issues, we got all types of issues that we know of, but we don't have the opportunity to talk about publicly. So if there will be research done, I want all work orders, requests for services, drainage, and otherwise that has been in existence for greater than 6 months, and I want all of that made available at the same time. Not just a single project.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Boudreaux. Councilman Call.
Mr. Boudreaux, your points are well made and well taken. My concern is not so much of the inaction, is no communication as to the status. That's the most frustrating thing. When a member of our constituency comes up and asks questions for which we have been asking questions and have no answers to provide, that is my issue. I can understand inaction because we don't have adequate funding, we don't have adequate manpower, but at the very least, we owe them an explanation and a status report. And that doesn't require excessive manpower or time.
Councilman Liz.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like someone from Public Works, whether it's Mark or if you have somebody that could speak to the specific question I have is, once a constituent submits a request to us, we then have it processed through a service request for service. My understanding is that your crew goes out there and rates it, correct? And then puts it in line from high urgency to low urgency. And then we approach the projects as they come from highest to lowest.
That's basically correct. They're assessed. Mm-hmm. In the case of Ms. Brevis's request, I know that the locations that she inquired about were looked into.
Okay.
Apparently the summary or the whatever didn't get relayed through
and that's fine.
the chain.
Yeah, but I guess specifically I'm asking the service request.
One of the things is that we are not a proactive department. We don't periodically inspect every pipe and every crossing and every inlet in the city. And so some of the requests in Broadmoor were for that type of an investigation, and we're not going to do that. But however, we did observe the system under rainfall. Mm-hmm. The system, as does many neighborhoods, collects water, and the water comes up in the street, and then when the rainfall ends, it drains out. And so just by that nature of that function, the system is operating reasonably well for the way that it was designed. The storms that we had November 1st, there was one in August, there was one in May, were far in excess of the design capacity of those systems. So the water was by nature going to rise up, and it did.
Well, so, but going back, my question is, they're rated by urgency, correct? And then you
Yes,
approach the ones
that's
that are
correct.
the most urgent.
There's
to the ones that
there's
are-
a very large number of unanswered or unresolved
Okay.
work orders, and so your number will be very large.
Okay. And I know as of right now, if a constituent wants an update, they have to contact Public Works or the council office, give their service request number to get an update this way, correct? There's no other way, as I know it, for them to go online and look up their service request?
Not at this point.
Okay, but Mayor, that is something that you're working on with, as we develop this new website, is that a constituent can go online and search by their service request, their address, and find out where they are in the process. So it'll be more accessible in the future, but that is something we're working on.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, just wanted to make sure that I had all the right information. All right, thank you, appreciate it. That's all I have, Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, sir. I just want to make a note that constituent in my district, they have a lot of complaints that some job hadn't been done, and they're always telling me that it's because it's on this side of town. So I'm glad this discussion is going on to let them know it's happening everywhere. It's not just in one particular district. Okay, thank you.
All right. I just got to say it happens in everybody's district, and you know, as representatives and administration and as department heads, the only thing I can ask for is to get back with your constituents, with your council members, so that we can relay the right message at the right time. It might not be what they want to hear, but at least if we're getting back to them in a timely manner and explaining the process and then letting them know that we're doing everything we can, versus it just basically going silent and then they're having to keep reminding us when we should be the ones going out to them and reminding them of where their status is in the project. Several times in my district, I get back with my people right away. Unfortunately, they're still not happy because the news is not what they want, but as long as we as a government can be forefront and be proactive in the sense of responding back to our constituency, whether it's council or administration or department heads, then I think it serves the purpose. It's not going to always be perfect, and it's not always going to be right, and it's probably not going to be what you want to hear, but we are limited on what we can do with resources, and the budget doesn't look very nice, so it could get potentially even worse. In some cases, I remember when I first started, a request for service would take maybe 30 days. The paper would go to a constituency and say 60 days, and then it'd be 180 days. So it's just not gonna get done as fast as you would like, as far as for production or productivity or manpower. But we have an obligation to get back with you with the truth right away. And that's what I'm hearing we need to do a better job of. The outcome might not be better, but the response should be there. So as chairman and fellow council members, you know, that's what we try to do, and administration department heads, we need to do a better job of making sure we get the facts out, and then we just ask the constituencies to understand the circumstances that we're in. It's just limited resources, we do the best we can. Okay? Thank you very much. Any other speakers? Okay. Moving right along to resolutions. This is a public hearing, and electronic sign-in is available for anyone wishing to address the council. There is a 5-minute rule that is in effect. And Jeremy, can you please read the first one?
Resolution 18, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council approving Advanced Products and Systems LLC for participation in the Industrial Tax Exemption Program at 108 Asset Avenue, Scott, Louisiana, 70583.
Okay, just to let you know. All right, you beat me to it. I'm just going to ask for a motion and a second to defer to the May 15th meeting. Got a motion by Councilman Conk, second. Second by Councilman Boudreaux. Not seeing any other council discussion. Any public comment on this issue? A resolution, sorry. Okay, please call the roll.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
Motion to defer is approved. Resolution 22, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council supporting the elimination of fee exemptions and associated privileges for elected and appointed officials as it relates to at-cost recreational activities, notably the play of golf at courses that fall under the jurisdiction of Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government.
Okay. Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux, a second by Councilman Bellard. Council discussion. Councilman Terrio, you have the floor.
Yes, who do we have that can talk about this? I guess, let me shoot this. Mr. Boudreaux, I see that you're the one that had brought this up. My first question is that why is this resolution being brought forward? I, for one, I can tell you, since 2008, never once have I stepped foot on the public golf course and taken advantage of anything like this. So my question to you is that why at this point in time are we moving forward with this?
The Recreation Commission. My appointee is actually a licensed professional. And when you have a license in your professional capacity, like lawyers and doctors and therapists and others, if you ever risk engaging in some illegal or unethical activity, not only can you find yourself being sanctioned by the ethics board, but you also put your license at risk. And she was such a great talent. I assured her that she had nothing to worry about, that being on this commission was actually one of the most upstanding things that she could do. And to clean it real good, I knew that some 25, 30 years ago, this benefit was out there. And I felt that with better time than when I was making my appointment, so I brought forth a resolution.
So basically the resolution here, although resolution is not legally binding, but if this passes here, then what used to be a benefit to many now will be no longer.
That's correct.
Commission members, elected officials, any other directors, LCG employees, basically it's across the board. Are there any exceptions here?
No.
Is there anybody here that's not included that should be?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No.
So basically it would state that everybody would be treated as the public.
As it relates to these services, that's correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Not seeing any other council discussion. Any public comment? Okay, please call the roll.
District 2? Yes. District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? Yes. District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Resolution 23, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of a grant application with the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program for the Lafayette Police Department.
Got a motion by Councilman Terrio and a second by Councilman Bellard. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Public comment?
Yes, sir.
Please call the roll.
District 3? Yes. District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Motion to adopt is approved. Resolution 24, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of applications for grant funding made available by the Louisiana Statewide Flood Control Program through the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development.
Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux and a second by Councilman Terrio. Council discussion. Councilman Lewis, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Dubrock, I have a question for you. I see this is designed to assist local jurisdiction in the construction of flood control project. What is the flood control project?
Say that again?
The flood control?
In particular?
Yeah. basically?
Right now, we're looking at two of the projects that were proposed for the Acadiana Planning Commission, the $25 million project, and we're looking at two of ours that came up and using it for matching funds and possibly maybe funding one of them to a greater extent.
So exactly what this will do, this will help, I see some matching fund. Now how this will work exactly, can you explain to me how this is going to work?
Well, the project will be funded by the Department of Transportation, and typically we would have to put up 20%. And so that's what these funds would be used for.
So this has nothing to do with, like for instance, in the district that I represent, there are some areas that are in the flood zone, but there's no flooding going on. That has nothing to do with trying to...
No, not in particular those.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure if I answered you good, but...
Well, yes, you did. The last part you did.
Okay.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other council discussion? Seeing none. Go ahead and, any public comment? Yes, sir. Okay, please call the roll.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7? Yes. District 8?
Yes.
District 9? Yes. District 1?
Yes?
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Resolution 25, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council informing the State of Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the Lafayette Utility System has taken the appropriate action concerning permit requirements contained in LPDES permits numbered LA 36382, LA 36374, LA 36391, and LA 42561.
LAs. We got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux and a second by Councilman Terrio. Any council discussion? I'm seeing none at this time. Any public comment? Can you please call the roll?
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Resolution 26, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of Safe Routes to Public Places grant applications with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development.
Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux, and I have a second by Councilman Liz. Stepping up into the arena here. Any council discussion? Sure do. Mr. Boudreaux, keep them talking.
Oh, my God.
That was a good one, huh? That was a good one. Mr. Boudreaux, keep them talking.
You threw me off with that.
I threw you off right there.
I just wanted the record to reflect. I got a specific request into our director, Carly, as it relates to this matter. Many of you all have been around for a while, know Safe Routes to School has been a project that has evaded some of us for quite some time. I understand that this is a expansion of the Safe Route to School program, and now we have Safe Routes to public facilities, other facilities. And what I have asked is that I'm going to support the resolution, but I think they had already identified potentially 2 or 3 projects, and I'm going to ask that they get with Public Works and look at any and all sidewalk projects that for whatever reason have not been able to be executed, and that it be made available in the event that additional funding comes about, because this money is, because it hadn't been spent, as I understand it, at the federal level, at the state level, in a timely fashion. So that's via the expansion. So what I'm asking is that to give the entire city an opportunity, in Parish, if it could go outside of the city limits, is that we look at all projects to all public facilities in the event that something is more shovel-ready, more timely, or anything of that nature. And I think she's in agreement with that. You could nod your head right there, Carl. There you go. So she's in agreement with that, and I wanted you all to be aware of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Boudreaux, any other discussion? Seeing none at this time. Any public comment? Okay, please call the roll.
District 6?
Yes.
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes?
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
All right. Moving now to ordinances for final adoption.
Ordinance 41, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the building or structure located at 421 Daffodil Loop, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by Leonce Boutte Sr. and Monica Ann Ozine, care of Gerald J. Block, attorney appointed, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare and ordering the condemnation of same.
Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux and a second by Councilman Terrio. Any other council discussion? I'm seeing none at this time. Any public comment? All right, please call the roll.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9.
Yes.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2, District 3, District 4, District 5, District 6. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 44, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council approving a conditional use permit to allow a restaurant in a mixed-use neighborhood zoning district, case number ZON 2018-4, 1000 West Simcoe Street, conditional use permit, located generally north of West Simcoe Street, west of Delord Street, and south of West End Avenue.
Okay, need a motion and a second. Motion by Councilman Boudreaux, second by Nanette Cook. All right. And council discussion, Mr. Councilman Lewis.
Carl, I have a question, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the zoning is mixed neighborhood, correct?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what they're applying for. What would be the difference between that and commercial mix?
The commercial mixed zoning district would be a slightly more intense commercial zoning than mixed neighborhood. More uses typically allowed. There aren't a lot of differences between the two other than more expanded uses in the commercial mixed zoning
So
district.
they would not qualify under the commercial mix. So that's a specific reason why you guys zoned it mixed neighborhood.
Yes, this was actually part of, you may remember, we did a neighborhood rezoning in that area because there was a lot of industrial and commercial heavy rezoning. So a lot of the Simcoe Street corridor was rezoned to MN to be more neighborhood friendly, more conducive to neighborhood uses. So this property was rezoned to MN1. In order to do a restaurant, they need to get a conditional use permit, which goes through you all.
Because I also noticed earlier you guys sent something stating that at the meeting at the planning zoning, that they had 2 or 3 people spoke and one was against and the other 2 was for it.
There were a couple of people that came to the zoning commission meeting, yes.
Okay.
I was actually out of town that evening, so I didn't hear the individual comments, but I saw it in the report.
So, okay, I just want to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to voice their opinion.
Yes, sir.
In that neighborhood.
Yes.
And I noticed that you guys saying something about it's about a mile away from the downtown. So is there any plans trying to annex them into downtown or separately altogether? The LaPlace neighborhood?
We are not making any plans right now, nor do I know that I have the authority to expand the downtown boundary. I don't think I do.
Well, I just wanted to double check because a few people reached out to me.
Okay.
And their concerns were that.
Okay,
Okay, all right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, any other council discussion? All right, seeing none, any public comment?
Yes, sir. 2 citizens who did not wish to speak signed in to support the ordinance.
All right, we're good, Mr. Lewis? All right, please call the roll.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9,
Yes.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5, District 6, District 7. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 45, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the Unified Development Code so as to reclassify the property of Zydeco CHDO, case number ZON 2018-6, 2600 block of Louisiana Avenue rezoning, located generally east of Louisiana Avenue, west of Saturn Drive, and north of Polaris Drive, the particular parcels being rezoned from mixed-use neighborhood to public institutional.
Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux? Second by Councilman Castile. Council discussion, I got a question. What property of Zydeco, you gotta clear that. What is that, was that always that, or y'all, like, is there a property of Cajun, and like, I'm just.
I believe that's the property owner
Oh,
requesting, like, the name of the property owner requesting the rezoning.
I got excited. I thought it was like some music or something.
I know.
Pretty cool. All right, that's all I have. I have a motion by Councilman Boudreaux, second by Councilman Castile. No other council discussion. Any public comment?
Yes, sir, we do have one speaker, Alton Trahan.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to y'all. How you doing this evening? There's 2 points that I wanted to stress. I attended the planning meeting, one of the meetings. My property is adjacent to most of that tract of land. It's a large tract of land and I own the east side of that tract of land. I have no opposition to the development. I'm for development and moving that area within that particular section of the city forward. The only 2 concerns that I stated in the planning meeting that I want to at least formally state here is that, number 1, I've learned my answer to that as far as for access to that development through the neighborhood. There's a neighborhood immediately behind it that sections off on the south and east side of that development, which 2 roads that basically almost dead ends to that commercial property. But I've since learned from the planning and development that they will not require access to the neighborhood from that property. All access is going to be on Louisiana Avenue. So if that is so, I think most of the neighbors who had concerns are okay with that. The second concern that I wanted to state was whether or not that type of development would at least require some buffering or even possibly some type of fencing perhaps, whether if it's zero siding fencing or whatever would be required, was the second issue and the last issue that I have in reference to that development. And that, from what I understand, is still pending. I think there's further review that may take place, but I just wanted to make note that that's one of the issues that if the government had any type of regulations to deal with that, would at least consider it by virtue of being a commercial development butting up to a neighborhood that's been in existence for some time. Okay. Other than that, it would be within that section. I live on Neptune Drive, so I came years ago when Zydeco Chodo, I also wanted to develop a neighborhood. There are 2, 3 possibly live oaks within that intersection. One is on my property that's not going anywhere, but there's 2 that's right on the property line that I would hope, if they are in good condition, that they would consider keeping those particular 2 oaks. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, please call the roll.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? District 4? Yes. District 5? Yes. District 6?
Yes.
District 7? Yes. District 8? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 46, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing and directing the Lafayette Mayor President to execute an intergovernmental agreement with South Louisiana Community College for the establishment of an electric lineman training course.
Got a motion by Councilman Boudreaux, and I have a second coming from this side here. Who was it? Second by Ms. Cook. Just need to announce right quick that LUS and legal have proposed an amendment to include as backup the Exhibit A and to add language to the IGA in Section 2 of the ordinance, which would require both the council and the LPUA approval before any contributions would be allowed in subsequent years. So what I need to do is see who would like to offer that proposed amendment. I have Councilman Boudreaux and second by Councilman Cook. Is there any discussions on this amendment? Seeing none, any public comment on the amendment? Can we call the vote just on the amendment as of now?
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? 9?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Okay. Now, I'm not seeing any council discussion on the, oh, okay. Councilman Terrio.
This information may be provided, and I have not been made aware of it yet, but one question that was posed to me, didn't know how to answer it, was that if we have an agreement with South SLCC for the establishment of the electric lineman training course, what guarantee do we have after the course is completed that the individual that may be benefiting from whatever said funds or the course itself will actually stay here in Lafayette? Mr. Yuval, you have any response to that?
I'm pretty sure I can help you. It's none.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there is no guarantee, but here's what the challenge is for us. And I didn't have the numbers last time, but we have 39 lineman positions. I've got 10 of the positions open. So that's 25%. And the other utility companies are having the same issue. Well, we think, first of all, by doing it this way, it saves us some money because when you get somebody off the street who's never been a lineman before, you got to train them. Right. And they're not get trained by themselves. So I have to get a foreman to work with them to be able to learn the ropes. And so there's a substantial amount of effort on our part to train somebody, and then sometimes we lose them anyway. A lot of times we keep them, but sometimes we lose them. With this program, we're not going to have to be putting out money to train the employee. That'll be SLCC's job. If we can get a program in place that encourages people to realize that it can be a very good career in being a lineman, then we'll have more people doing that. And so the likelihood of folks leaving might become less because each utility system at some point has a maximum number of linemen they need to have. If they're all short, then the supply and demand curve is working against us as the guys that are looking for linemen. But when it flips out to the other side, I think you can see some stability there. And there's other places around the country that have done this sort of thing successfully. But this is the first time we tried here. So it's, you know, the concept of coming back to you guys to ask for raises so I can keep linemen, I know is not a very attractive thing. You know, the problem is that we're competing against locally. So if we can get a stronger supply of linemen, then we believe this gives us a good shot at being able to get something that stabilizes things.
Well, and that's good, Terry. I would hope that in the future, if we have skin in the game on this, the people of Lafayette are contributing in any way monetarily, that we have some precursors for individuals who are going through that course, which I don't know how that can be done legally, but when that time comes, there may be something we may need to look at that point.
Yeah. I think we give this a shot first, see what happens. If it turns out, like you said, it's kind of that we need to revisit it, and then we should go ahead and do that.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Councilman Bellard, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Huval, and you've answered this question for me, but I just want the public to know that all the participants are putting in an equal share amount of money. We're not putting in more than the guy, and I just want to publicly have you state this for the public.
Yes, sir, that is correct. That's indeed correct. Right now, there's 3 utilities involved. There may be a 4th utility involved. When that happens, we're all going to be sharing equally in the cost.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bellard. Okay. Not any public comment on the ordinance that was amended? All right, then please call the vote on the ordinance as amended.
1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4? Yes. District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? District 9?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Ordinance 47, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing and approving an administrative reorganization, reassigning responsibilities of the Court Services Program section to City Court, amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget, and adjusting manning tables of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government.
Got a motion by Councilman Bellard and a second by Councilman Conk. And just need to announce that the additional information on bridge projects that was requested of Public Works during introduction is available in your packets for review. Council discussion on this item? Seeing none. Any public comment?
Judge Douglas Saloon.
Only if you need me. I'm here to happy to answer. For those of you that aren't familiar with the history, by the way, I'm Judge Douglas Saloom, City Judge Lafayette. The history of court services is long, and it's been a vital part of our system. It's been batted around over the last 22, 23 years, and this is an opportunity to stabilize it, maintain it, and we're kind of excited about it. If there's any direct questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think it's a move that's going to help the court. It's a move that's going to help the council. We have some learning curves. We have some transition periods. We have met with our contractor, and they're going to put the bids out to establish the office space, which the court is going to fund. And I think we're just ready to roll. One thing I'd like to say while I do have the mic, I want to thank Miss Amy. Miss Amy's back there, and Catherine, I think it's Crader. They have just been phenomenal in keeping this project, court services going, and I know it's not their job. It's not by designation, but the work they have done to help us keep it alive until we can get it to where we have it today it needs commendation, because they've done a great job.
Cool. Thank you so much. I don't see any questions that anybody has at this time, but I very much
I was going to ask Mr. Boudreaux one thing, though. I don't want a discount, but if you can get me 2 strokes around, that would help me. So if they graduate, they get 2 strokes around. I got you. That's no help to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, not seeing any other public comment? I'm sorry. Okay, please call the roll.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? Yes. District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 48, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $1,472,479.62 from various projects to the Parish Bridge Improvements Project within the Public Works Department for additional funding needed on projects ready to bid.
Motion by Councilman Terrio. Got a second by Councilman Lewis. Any council discussion?
And Mr. Chair, the information on the bridge projects that's in your packet was actually intended to be recognized for this item.
You know, I was thinking that as I was reading that, I was going, what does the bridges have to do with the court system?
Yes, it was inadvertently put on that item, so you are correct.
Yeah, I guess I should have caught that, but I know you do, like, you don't make mistakes, so it just caught me off. Caught me off guard, you know. So I'm surprised Judge Saloon didn't say, what does the bridge have to do with the court system, right? But cool. Well, I do have a question. Mr. Dubrock, can you come up for a second? Just so the public's clear and I'm clear and this council's clear, we're transferring this money to projects that are like ready to go. All of land acquisitions, everything, you're just...
Well, it's actually putting the money into the general parish bridge fund. So the majority of the bridges were completed projects. So the excess funds are being rolled into the parish general bridge fund.
So this is leftover money after the other completion. Now we're moving on to what other projects?
Correct. As they are finished in design and the rights of way have been gathered. Now the exception to that is the Old Spanish Trail Bridge, the last one on the list.
Oh.
And we had anticipated replacing that bridge, and in the evaluation of all of the bridges in the parish, which we have an excessive number that need work,
right,
we reevaluated that replacement and came up with a repair scheme. And so instead of spending $1 million to replace it, we're going to repair it and put it back in service, full service, for an extended period of time with about $100,000 repair.
And that's on the Old Spanish Trail?
That's the Old Spanish Trail at Il de Con.
I appreciate it. Councilman Boudreaux.
Somewhat related to bridges, not so much parish bridges, but I just want to thank the director. There were warm, live, moving bodies on the Surrey Street Bridge today. with trucks unloading things, and that was a beautiful sight to see. So,
It was Monday, actually, Monday.
thank you. Well, I saw them today.
Okay.
When I passed on Monday, they hadn't gotten there yet. So today.
He
But
sent them
thank
today
you.
because we had a council meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
I was relieved as well that they were there.
Cool deal. That's all the questions I had, Mr. Dubrock. I don't see anybody else. Thank you so much. Any public comment? All right, please call the roll.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7? Yes. District 8? Yes. District 9? Yes. District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 49, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with St. Landry Parish government, providing for certain contractual reimbursements relative to work performed pursuant to grant agreements under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and the disposition of certain equipment purchased with grant funds awarded under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Motion by Councilman Bellard. Second by Councilman Cook. Any public comment?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Any council discussion? Seeing none, no public comment. Call the roll.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 51, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $100,000 received from Bloomberg Philanthropies, appropriating within the Development and Planning Department, and authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to execute any documents with Bloomberg Philanthropies necessary for project completion.
Okay. Motion by Councilman Boudreaux. Second by Councilman Conk. Not seeing any council discussion. Any public comment? Please call the roll.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
All right, we're going to move right along to introductory ordinance. I need to remind everyone that item 27, introduction of ordinance 14-2018, is being pulled from the in globo list for a separate vote discussion and will be addressed following the in globo vote. Need a motion and a second to consider? I got a motion by Councilman Lewis. Need a second? Second by Councilman Cook. All right, can you please read?
Ordinance 50, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of a grant application with the Louisiana Office of State Parks for the Recreation Trail Program Grant for the Nature Station. Ordinance 53, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of prior year fund balance in the amount of $2,462 and appropriating within the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, Juvenile Detention Division, to promote one Juvenile Detention Attendant 1 for an apprenticeship completion increase. Ordinance 54, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to execute a lease agreement with the Lafayette Economic Development Authority regarding office space in the building located at 2100 Jefferson Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, 70501, known as the War Memorial Building. Ordinance 55, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of an amount not to exceed $108,000 in Community Development Block Grant funds within the Community Development Department to 7th District Pavilion Incorporated. Ordinance 56, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a 10-foot electrical easement on Lot 3A of Howard's having a municipal address of 4603 Johnson Street. Ordinance 57, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the Lafayette Consolidated Government Board of Zoning Adjustment Rules of Policy and Procedure. Ordinance 59, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the building or structure located at 231 Guidry Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by Corny R. Hall Nolan, James Arthur Nolan III, and Alice Lynn Nolan, care of Gerald J. Block, attorney appointed, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare and ordering the condemnation of same.
All right. You can go ahead and call the vote.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Yes.
District 4? District 5?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Okay, do we have any comments from the public on the in globo that we just adopted? Okay. All right, now we need to move to item number 27. Gentlemen, can you please read?
Ordinance 58, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending Ordinance 114, 2013, accepting the reallocation of funds for the hazard mitigation grant under Hurricanes Gustav and Ike for the acquisition of elevation of severe repetitive loss properties or repetitive loss properties, and amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by decreasing revenues in the amount of $85,999, 75% received from the State of Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, and 25% received from participating property owners, and appropriating within the Development and Planning Department.
Okay, we need a motion in a second. Motion by Councilman Castillo, second by Councilman Bellard. I'm going to announce, is this the correct announcement before we read? All right. Finance has proposed an amendment to substitute the attached budget revision with a revised version. Need a motion and a second for a proposed amendment.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Castillo, second by Councilman Bellard. Any council discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. Any public comment on the amendment? Seeing none. Call on the vote for the amendment.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Yes. District 3? Yes. District 4? Yes. District 5? District 6?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Is there any public comment on the ordinance as amended?
Yes, sir.
All right, please call the vote on the ordinance as amended.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4? Yes. District 5?
Yes.
District 6? Yes. Motion to introduce as amended is approved.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Everyone have a good evening and a safe trip home.
Did you get the motion and second on the